Greetings everyone, Ray Landis here. I wanted to come back with this Squier Bullet Strat and just say a few more things about it that I didn't get to talk about in my first video that featured this guitar. It's a beautiful guitar for one, and I was really surprised how after taking it and thinking about the way that it looked like a very inexpensive guitar, and how with these modifications how it kind of enriched the look of it to a point that it doesn't at all look like a cheap guitar. I had talked about maybe trying to take the logo off the headstock, just to camouflage the idea that it is a Squier. But I've really started to respect Squier guitars a lot more in the recent couple years that I've been working with them, because I've found that they are generally really good. They're designed to be a less expensive guitar, but the workmanship in them is still quite good, and it can be worked on and made into something really great. So this guitar at this point looks really nice, but I wanted to mention a couple things about it. The pickguard I talked about in my first video was an experimental pickguard with pickups that are kind of unlikely for a guitar like this. The rails pick up in the bridge position. I have a bridge pickup from another Stratocaster in the middle, and then I've got a really nice humbucker in the bridge position. There's no coil splitting or anything. The way that you can change sounds is really just by the combinations of the tone and volume and pickup selection. The volume is, of course, a master volume. The tone is designed to work just the neck pickup and then just the middle pickup. And then, like the old-time classic setup that Stratocasters used to have, the bridge pickup does not have any tone control. However, if you put it in position 2, you can get some tone variations that are really nice by adjusting the tone on the middle pickup. So that worked out really good. I mentioned that I put 500K pots in this guitar in my first video, and that was just because we were dealing with basically double coil pickups with the one single coil. I figured that would kind of adapt to these 500K pots. I talked also about putting shielding inside the body, which I did. I don't know if that affected anything or not, because it's a relatively quiet guitar. Even in the single coil middle pickup position, it stays pretty quiet. At first I had a problem because when I tried to get the pickguard in with this full-size switch, the tabs touched the back of the route and it shorted everything out. So I put a piece of tape there to prevent that from happening, and it took care of the problem almost immediately. I had talked about putting a different back plate on. I didn't do that. I kept the original back plate. I set it up originally so that this tremolo bar could be inserted and used, and it did work. It stayed in relatively decent tune, but when I get a guitar and start to set it up, if it doesn't stay in perfect tune, I try to come up with a way to solve that. So this one, even though I could get the tremolo to work, and it did seem to work kind of okay, it didn't stay in perfect tune like I really want a guitar to stay in perfect tune. So I had talked about in the first video that I was only going to put in 2 springs. I ended up going back on that, and I put 3 springs back in it, and I pulled them all the way tight and decked the tremolo. Now it stays in perfect tune, and I like it that way better. Some guitars, I guess some of you have tried this before. Some guitars, no matter what you do to it, what you do to them, they end up not staying in tune. They could have perfect mechanisms, good quality mechanisms, and for some reason certain guitars just won't stay in tune. This was one of those. So I decided and opted to deck the tremolo, and that worked absolutely perfectly. But this guitar is a stunning looking guitar, and it does play really nice. It's got a lot of unique sounds that you can get from it, and of course, because of the double coils, you can get a lot of rich creamy sounds out of it. And the reason I think my son-in-law is going to like this is because he's got like a little challenge with his left hand, where one of his joints seems to pop, and I wanted to make this guitar like very responsive. So with the rolled fingerboard edges and the super low action, the action on this is very low. You can see that the strings are almost sitting right on the fretboard, and there's no buzzing, which is really nice. It's very close action, so he doesn't have to push hard, and the pickups are very responsive, so he doesn't have to play hard. So I think it's going to help him in that regard. I was really impressed with the Indian Laurel fretboard after I nourished it and worked on it a little bit. It actually almost looks like rosewood. It's very dark. It's got some really nice grain. I don't know if you can pick that up in the video or not, but it's got some really nice grain, and it's a really rich looking Indian Laurel that gives the overall appearance of a really nice rich guitar. And the fit and finish is not absolutely perfect, but it's so close you really can't tell. If you look at where the bridge and the pickguard meet, you've got a little bit of space there. You've got a little bit of space here with the pickguard and the neck, and you can't really tell. It's probably because of the way that the design was fashioned, so that these guitars on a budget level are not absolutely the same as the American standards or even the Mexican Strats. But with these upgrades and this guitar, being worked over, I've got the intonation, nearly perfect. The tuners are really, really nice. The brass nut turned out great. I was able to get the nut carved. I use now the it's a different set of nut files that I've not used a whole lot, but these are incredible. These are so good, and I think these actually beat the Stu Mac files and are so easy to use. So I've used those, and they work great on the brass nut. So this guitar is really a tremendous instrument now, and my son-in-law really likes it. So it's not going to be around here very long. It's probably going to be heading over to his house within the next couple days. So I just wanted to get back and say a few things about it, and some of the things I originally planned, they turned out a little different. I was going to put an HSH with, a full-size humbucker here, but I decided not to, and I put this pickguard in, and I'm so glad that I did, because it just turned out so nice. And I'd like to hear your comments. I kept the Squier branded neck plate, and I can say also that I was very impressed with this neck. This neck is probably the quality, at least like the Affinity Strats, of course with the smaller headstock, but better than the Sonic neck. So even the dots on the top really are quite visible. I didn't change the strap buttons. I kept those the same because they're just good, and they don't need to be changed. But no tremolo, just a straight, almost like a hardtail. Very nice, nice playing guitar. I'm proud to give this to my son-in-law and have him play on it. So if you've enjoyed this or the other video that I put out about this guitar where I played a little bit at the end, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, put in some comments, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time for the next guitar adventure. Take care.